If you own a home within a half a mile of a VTA light rail stop in the South Bay, a new state law just changed what can legally get built on your street. And most homeowners have no idea that it's already happening. And I'm going to walk you through 6 specific changes that SB79 is bringing in order. And the last one is the one that actually moves your home's values. So stay with me. I'm Steve Moon, your San Jose Metro Realtor, and I've been selling in the San Jose Metro area for over 20 years. Listen, I'm not reading you a press release. I've been reading through and I've pulled the actual text. So let's go from station to station. First, SB 79 splits transit stops into tiers, and every VTA light rail station is qualifying as Tier 2. That means that within 200 feet of a station, cities now have to allow buildings that go up to 8 stories. Within a quarter of a mile, 6 stories. Within half of a mile, 5 stories. So if your home sits near one of these stations, even in a neighborhood that's been historically a single-family home for, let's say, 40 years, this becomes a new baseline, whether your city council likes it or not. Second, Diridon station is Caltrain, which puts it into a higher tier known as Tier 1. Any station with the heavy rail or very high-frequency commuter rail falls into this category. So within a quarter mile of Tier 1 stations, cities can't set a height limit below 75 feet and with the minimum density of 120 dwellings per acre. That's not a suggestion, it's the floor. If you own a property near downtown Diridon or any other Tier 1 stations, this is a completely different redevelopment conversation than it was only a year ago. Third, and this is the part that most homeowners miss, this is a state law that overrides all local zoning. Before SB 79, if a developer wanted to build 6 stories next to a single-family block, the city council could block it. Now, if the project qualifies, the city has to approve it. San Jose's own planning department can't wave this away. They can only carve out narrow exceptions to this. Fourth, San Jose City Council has been doing hearings on this since January, and they've directed staff to designate certain industrial areas as employment hubs that get exempted from SB 79. That sounds technical, but here's what it really means for you. Some blocks are going to be shielded from this and others aren't, and it's based on decisions being made in the city council chambers right now. Which side of that line that your home falls on is about to matter a lot more than it used to. Fifth, this isn't just hypothetical anymore. As of July 1st, cities have to apply these standards to every new application that comes in. That means that properties near these stations that haven't been touched in decades are exactly the type of properties that developers are going to be looking at first. So expect to see many new changes ahead. And here's the thing that nobody's really talking about. If your home sits within that half a mile ring, you may be sitting on land value that you didn't know that you had. A lot that could be assembled or sold to a developer at a very different number than a straight home sale. But if you're just outside of that ring, or maybe your block gets carved into one of these employment hub exemptions, you don't get that upside. And you might end up next to a 5-story building without none of that benefit. Same street, 2 completely different outcomes depending on which side of that invisible line that you're on. Here's the takeaway. SB 79 doesn't touch every San Jose block the same way. Your street could gain value from the density this law unlocks, or it could sit right next to a 5-story building with none of that upside, and only depends on nothing more than how close your parcel is to a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 stop. That's not a policy detail, that's your home's value. So don't guess. Drop your neighborhood in the comments or DM me and I'll tell you exactly where your block stands. Thanks for watching, and if this was useful to you, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you in the next video.